Hello everyone, welcome back to our next run-up, Spark the Electric Jester 3, all levels, new game on the 1.1 batch, done by shovelclaws with a very cute Spark plushie in the background. Without any further ado, shovelclaws, the floor is yours.
Hello, gamers. Good morning, everyone. Man, I'm a bit tired. This is the earliest I've ever done a run. This is a new experience. Anyways, hi, I'm shovelclaws, and you're about to see the best speedrun of all time. At least if I don't spark it up. Fark it up. I don't know why I said spark. That was not the character I was thinking of. It's fine. Spark the Electric Jester is a high-speed 3D action platformer where you play as Spark. Spark is a just graduated college student who has got his job stolen from him by robots. Relatable. That was in the first game. Long story short, Spark Force has taken over the world, and Spark, because he's not connected to the internet anymore and is upset because he needs to cash a check. This game's lore is weird. Is going to overthrow them. I know that sounds ridiculous, but don't worry, it makes about as much sense to us as it does you. And I've played this game like 500 hours. I don't know what to tell you, man. With that, we're gonna be doing all levels today. All levels is all of the levels in the base game. This game got 2 DLCs. One of which added like 16 levels from Spark the Electric Jester 2. This man added a whole game's worth of levels, which would be weird to include in a Spark 3 category. It caused weird version parity. You just run 1.1. We didn't want to do that. So all levels just is all Spark 3 levels, and we have a separate category for doing all Spark 2 stages. With that, we're gonna change over to Easy Jester, Platforming Difficulty Normal. This run, you're gonna see a lot of very cool tech that comes from all levels, stuff that you wouldn't have seen otherwise, so pretty exciting stuff. With that, we're gonna go ahead and begin, so I'll count us down. Time will begin once we click yes, so in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. So every great game has a fantastic first stage. For example, Mario has 1-1, Sonic, Green Hill Zone. We have a race car. Spark, you're making this a hard sell. At least this race car is cool. Race car controls are very simple. You'll see them this one time and never again. The race car is in other stages, we just don't take it. Spark is faster, but we're forced into the car with this stage, Alpine Carrera. We'll be boosting, trying to maintain about 325 kilometers per hour on our little speedometer in the bottom right. Otherwise, we drift around corners and do our best to not crash into any walls. Additionally, we have a little nitrous boost. You can see the yellow boost meter right above our speedometer there. When we hold down the boost, it gives us a big old speed boost, and we'll want to use it throughout this stage to maximize our speed. Some tight turns there, we're going to crash, that's no biggie. Small crashes like that are not a problem. You can get sent absolutely flying in this stage. Go watch Argic's ESA run of this from winter this year. Look, this stage gets a lot friendlier once you realize there's a reset car button, is what I'm going to say. With that, we finally meet the man, the myth, the legend, Spark himself. Spark has some pretty basic kind of platformer moves that you'd come to expect. He can jump, he can double jump, he has a little dash, he can charge up that dash to go zooming, and otherwise wall jumps, stuff like that. All of his moveset is pretty straightforward, but we can use them in some pretty interesting ways that we'll see during our first stage, Double Moon Villa. One thing, additionally, is that we're playing on a new game file. This game has a new game plus mode, but it's not very popular. I'm like the only person who's done a run with New Game Plus before, and it was for a GDQ hotfix. So we have to build up Spark to be the more powerful version of himself. So what that looks like is spending this and a few stages during this first bit of the run, collecting these bubbles and these bits. The yellow dodecahedron type things are called bits, these small ones are called bits, these big ones are called bubbles. Bubbles allow you to homing attack off them, because Spark has a homing attack, and we're going to use that, hopefully, to get some nice speed using a technique called magnet dashing. You'll see it here. Nice. Magnet dashing is simply, kind of think of it like a homing attack cancel. It's not a homing attack cancel. If you call it that, I hurt you. This is actually just a way to carry your momentum from a homing attack to the actual movement after a homing attack. We'll grab that extra bit bubble there, because we did miss one earlier, but no biggie. Otherwise, we can also do something called an exhausted magnet dash. In this game, Spark has one airborne dash before he becomes exhausted. He can no longer air dash afterwards. So we're going to use that to our advantage. If you do a magnet dash while you are exhausted, you can actually carry your angle, because otherwise, Spark does the air dash, and his air dash sends him straight forward. But with an exhausted magnet dash, we can go up, down, all around, and here we're aiming for about 850. We're a little bit low, so we might need to get some extra goodies. Should be fine, hopefully. Oh no. Did my stream cut out? I don't think it did. Hopefully not.
You're fine. Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, good. Alright. I'm getting weird network errors on my phone. I'm not sure why. But after Double Moon Villa, we'll take a trip to the shop by Spark, and we'll real fast grab a couple of upgrades that we'll want to get. The first and foremost is the Energy Dash. We'll see what this is for in our next stage. Then we'll grab the Charge Shot, which is a little finger gun, and a Jester Swipe. The Jester Swipe is an ability that lets you build up some nice speed with bits that you will see in a stage later. Before that, though, the Jester Dash is our homing attack, and you saw Magnet Dashing, where we use a Jester Dash and a basic Air Dash in order to speed up, just like that. Well, let me just say, with an Energy Dash, we can get dashy. Boom. Literally straight into the goal. That, my friends, is called a Hyper Dash, and it is the bread and butter of this run. Magnet Dashes are strong, Hyper Dashes are powerful. Using a Hyper Dash is very straightforward. It's the same exact inputs as a Magnet Dash, except instead of the trigger there to Air Dash, you press the D-pad with your Energy Dash attachment. Hyper Dashes have revolutionized this run, turned it into something magical, and it's part of why this game is my favorite speedrun of all time. In the meantime, we're playing through the slope jump tutorial. You go higher when you jump off slopes. Game, what do you want from me? Otherwise, these few first stages are a lot of tutorial stages, which you may be wondering, why do we need to beat those? You know how to play this game, hopefully. Well, it's pretty straightforward. You see that freedom medal count? That determines how fast we can progress. Stages unlock after a certain amount of freedom medals. You can see here, 6 for this next stage. Or, in this case, boss fight. Don't worry about it. But, we need to go through tutorial stages to get quick medals. Additionally, we'll be going through a lot of just regular stages as well. So, we need 36 freedom medals, and you'll be going through all the lands, all the worlds, all types of different stages. I'm going to collect a little bit of extra energy there to set up for this stage. Here we can see some of the powers of not only hyper dashing, but the Jester Swipe. We built up quite a lot of speed there just by pressing the B button when we're in front of a trail of bits. It's a very powerful move. We buy it first for a reason, right? And next up we have Cold Dry Desert. Cold Dry Desert is a tricky stage that has a really difficult IL route. I'm not going for it. But this stage is our first stage variant. This is an escape stage, which is... honestly, it's nothing special. It's... You go fast. We're already doing that, Spark, but, you know, go off, King. Unfortunately, we didn't hit a hyper dash there. We want to typically hit a hyper dash off that off that blue bubble. No biggie though. We can grab you real fast. It is also worth noting that we have another type of bubble that we've met and is now useful to us, the energy bubble. The blue bubbles will give us energy. Energy is what we use to activate certain abilities, like the energy dash. All of them cost different amounts, but frankly, energy dash is the only one you'll be seeing for a good chunk of this run. Next, we have the charged Jester Dash tutorial. The charged Jester Dash is a very straightforward power. If you hold LT and B, you can charge a dash. This is great for getting a speed boost when you don't really have any other resources. Otherwise, this is a great time to talk about a little technique called dash jumping. You'll see here I do a little air dash before jumping, which you may wonder, that's not useful, is it? It is. The jump dash actually allows you to get a lot of extra height. And by a lot, I mean like pretty small amounts. It's fine. You'll see here we can, boom, just climb on up. We wouldn't be able to do that as cleanly otherwise. We'll be using these throughout the run to get that little bit of extra height when it's useful. Otherwise, boom, just straight into the goal. Very simple stage. A lot of these beginning stages are very straightforward as the game teaches you the mechanics and you get used to the physics. Next up, we're gonna hop back into the shop to buy real fast the regen breaking upgrade. You'll see what that does in the next stage, hopefully. Then we're gonna hop into AM Village. Here we're gonna collect more bits. There are a lot of bit bubbles in this stage, which will give us the necessary currency. And AM Village is a coin collecting stage. There are a few of these in the game, and our job here is to collect a certain amount of coins before the timer expires. You will never, I don't think the timer ever expired on me even during my casual playthrough. Like, it's pretty generous. Otherwise, we just collect 10 of these little coins, and it's pretty useful. We're gonna hop down, grab you, hop all around, just grab our bits. We want to make sure we're at 500 for a very important ability coming up, so we'll just get through. Try not to run into too many walls. 1 or 2 is fine, Spark, but come on, make me look good here. Okay, never mind. We typically do a hyper dash off that bubble because it gets us to where we're going faster, but unfortunately, we didn't quite hit it right. Next up, we're a little bit short, so we're actually going to take a quick detour down here, and this should give us our necessary coin, or necessary bits. And there's a coin just right there. That's probably from where we didn't collect as many in Double Moon Villa, or the first real stage. So, not too unexpected. Then, before our next boss, or I guess our first boss, we're gonna hop into the shop one more time and grab the rail boosting. There are rails in this game that you'll see a lot in the next stage. However, first, we have combat. I haven't mentioned it yet because it hasn't been relevant. This game has Devil May Cry tier combat. We have a heavy and light attack. We can parry abilities. We can also charge up a finger gun, which was one of the upgrades that we bought first. Additionally, we can juggle enemies, and part of juggling enemies is that we can actually cancel any lag that moves may have by air dashing, which allows us to chain attacks really, really fast. You can see there. There we go. Nice parry. You can see we're just tearing up Sawman Mark II here. Additionally, we have a damage combo multiplier. You'll see that orange bar on the top right, or top left. I know my directions, don't worry about it. That is our combo meter. As we deal more damage and throw out more attacks, that combo meter builds and gives us a damage multiplier. We basically always want to hover it around 1.9x. Next up, we have the hardest stage in the game. I'm probably going to get a little bit more quiet during this stage, but before we do, we should just explain what rail dashing is, or rail boosting is. If you hold down the trigger, you do a boost. That's awkward. Okay, we recovered that, thankfully. We're gonna come over to here. Thankfully, this stage is ridiculously difficult. It's probably the hardest stage in the game. Other than, like, the last stage. But you'll see why that is. That's for different reasons. That stage is hard for reasons we can't control. This stage is hard because it has difficult strats. This is Lost Riviera. And we hyperdash all over the place here. As I was saying, before we almost died, rail boosting is straightforward. You spend a little bit of energy for a little bit of boost. You'll see Spark gets all blue there. And that's when you know we're rail boosting. Additionally, there's another side to this one-way coin. The regen brake mechanic that we picked up in the shop beforehand. Slow down here for this hyperdash. Nice. Let's go. Regen braking is the exact opposite of rail boosting, where we spend a bit of our speed or momentum in order to convert it to... Well, that was awkward, but you know what? We'll take it. To convert it to... okay, sure. I'm gonna turn around for this. We want a little bit of extra speed there. We convert our momentum into boost. Or into energy, rather. And that's really useful in tandem with rail boosting, because eventually, if you go fast enough, you won't even slow down. You'll be going way too fast, and you'll, like, instantly build energy. Which you can see pretty cleanly there. One last hyperdash to the end of the stage here. And, holy moly, that stage was really good. Literally, like, would have been gold pace if I hadn't, like, played insane Lost Riviera during another marathon. But, yeah, that was really good. That stage is really difficult. I put, like, probably well over 50 hours into that stage. So that time is not to be understated. Very good. That was the Guardian. Bye, Guardian. You may have noticed before we began that stage that we actually swapped to Challenge Jester. Challenge Jester is a challenge difficulty. I didn't think it needed to be said, but, you know, here we are. Where you get 1 health, and also die instantly from fall damage. This game has fall damage, by the way. We're gonna... we use that twice in this run. Once is to... well, get out of that Guardian fight. The Guardian doesn't care if you win or lose, so we lose, because it's a lot faster than fighting him. Also, sometimes things aren't as they seem. You just hit the goal from under the platform there, don't worry about it. The other time we use Challenge Jester is to skip the Guardian. You fight him twice. Well, fight. You lose to him twice. We're gonna swap back to Easy Jester before our next few stages, and may see Lost Ravine here. We're gonna skip it. I know this is an all-level stage. Everything will be clear at the end of the run. Don't worry about it. Otherwise, this stage is probably one of my favorites. Oof. And we farked it. It's okay. This stage is wall running, which may seem pretty straightforward. You can hold the trigger to run along a wall. This stage has a really cool speedrun strat where you literally just never slow down. Unfortunately, it is actually pretty tricky. So it's pretty difficult. Oh! That was weird. I've never gotten a wall jump off there. Anyways, the last 2 tutorial stages have taught us about wall jumping. Press A against a wall, you jump off it, and wall running. And when you're wall running, you can actually combine that with the wall jump to get a lot of extra boost, or extra speed, which you'll see in a few stages. Not all that many, but a few. Next up is Arid Hole. Don't laugh. Look, man, like, you gotta choose better names sometimes, man. Anyways, this is another coin collecting stage, and this time we don't have any bits to worry about, so we're literally just going as fast as we can. Now, if I wanted to be safe, we could totally grab some extra bits. Okay, you're just gonna... Thanks. You get stuck on that rail. But, yeah, why not? We're gonna play it a bit risky. Besides, it's not like a huge deal if I don't get the bits necessary. I just go back and fight a boss. We'll grab these two just because it is nice. Then grab that energy bubble to hop on down here. We're gonna grab you. And then... Oh, wait, hold on. Thank you. Nice. Grab our last two in the little complex there. Very convenient. That was a pretty solid time, actually. I'm pretty alright with that. So, next up is the fastest stage in the game. Blink and you'll miss it if I do it right. Here's hoping. Splash Grotto. This stage is a What? Spark, you really went backwards on me. Yeah, that's one way to mess it up. Okay, alright, that's fine. Spark has a vengeance for me today. This stage is a rail stage, and we're gonna use everything to our advantage. Energy dashes, rail boosting, magnet dashes, as you'll see here. And these rails are super fast. We love rails in this game because they let us go speedy. Additionally, we love bits because we're greedy. No, it's because Jester Swipe is just that broken. And, ooh, I'll take a 38 any day. Especially with that, like, 3-second mess up at the beginning. I don't know why Spark went the wrong way. I wish I did. Anyways, that's Splash Grotto. One of the fastest stages in the game. You go very speedy. And we're gonna follow that up with the high speeds tutorial, which I think is just a really funny contrast. Because this stage is not all that fast. I don't know why this is not on the branch with the fastest stage in the game. It doesn't matter. This stage is running to the end. I don't know, man. There's not much you can do to speed this up. One small thing is that we actually will wall run some on this last bit because there are these little split paths. Wall running is actually a little bit faster just because when you wall jump between the two platforms there, you do actually get a small speed boost, as I mentioned earlier. Alright. We're good. One other thing to mention is that Spark's air resistance is a lot higher than his ground friction, so we want to stay on the ground whenever necessary. Think of him like a race car. So, which is funny because he is faster than the race cars in this game. So it really, if you think about it, it's kind of insulting to think of him as a race car, like in a weird meta way. Anyways, I know this small stage is run, but don't. We'll come back, I promise. We're going to District 5 instead. District 5 is a brand new area, protest prison. I know the last stage might have looked like a certain, I can't remember the character's name. Something Heroes? I don't know. I don't like video games. But this stage may also look like a certain stage from another game series that, yeah, I don't know. I just can't really, it's not on my tongue. I guess it's gone. Anyways, this stage is pretty fast, but there's actually a lot. I hate this rail. There's a way faster strat that is not viable for this version. As I said, as we mentioned at the beginning of this run, we are on a down-patched version. This is version 1.1. And version 1.1 has some strange differences. This stage is one of them. The fastest strat just isn't viable here. You don't get the necessary things. Also, oh no, I'm falling to my death. Hold on. There we go. That is kind of out of left field if you've never seen a run of this game before. That is called a... why can I not remember the name? Has it really been this long since I last played this stage? Anyways, we're gonna call it jump clipping for now, because I seriously cannot Gravity clips! Oh my god, I forgot the name, the word gravity. Oh, okay. 5 a.m. brain, it's fine. That was called a gravity clip. Gravity clips are a way to clip through certain walls. If you're running against a wall and come in contact with a roof, hold on, I gotta, like, kind of focus for this part. Okay, we're good. Should be, hopefully. If you're running against a wall and come in contact with a roof, Spark will change his gravity. He will reset his gravity down to face the ground, because in this game, in order to let you run across loops and stuff, Spark's gravity will change to where he will be gravitized to certain surfaces. And we can abuse that by having Spark run against a wall, hop up into the roof, and he just clips through. And it just so happens that that stage circles around on itself to where you can just hop through that roof, and suddenly you're at the back half. And it's pretty fast. It saves a whole minute in this stage. Say hello to Guardian once again, chat. Alright, bye Guardian. That was mean. Another just quick Guardian fight, very simple, very straightforward. Great time to hydrate yourself, and when I say hydrate, I mean water, hopefully. I promise this is water. Alright, next up is District 6. This stage is two very quick hyper dashes if you do it well. I actually have world record in this stage. I still, to this day, do not know how I did it. It just happened, I think. But it's fine. Very clean. That was a really good District 6. Wow. That's the only other protest prison stage you'll be seeing for a while, by the way. We skipped the rest until way later. Look. Again, this is an all levels run. It'll make sense. It'll make sense in the end. I promise. Otherwise, we're gonna swap back to easy Jester because this next stage will need it. Being on one health for this stage is not a good idea. This is Downtown Descent. Downtown Descent actually has a pretty fun story attached to it, but first we need to turn around and gather some energy from this bubble. Hit this energy bubble with a hyper dash. Well, never mind, we're gonna restart the stage, it's fine. You didn't see anything. So, as we start Downtown Descent for the first time, we're gonna hyper dash off this, very nice, and then hop on over to you. We're a bit low for this, but it'll be fine. We won't have as much energy to work with, though. At least we had a checkpoint, otherwise you're skipping a lot of checkpoints. For a very long time, this stage actually didn't have a route. But when I started running this game, as in, like, seriously running, I did a lot of ILs before I turned into an any percent runner. This is awkward. We're missing hyper dashes. This is not fun. Anyways, before... Okay, you know what? We're just going on the normal path. This game doesn't like me today. That's alright. Before we didn't really have a route for this stage for a pretty long time. And I'm a menace, and I hate fun. So I changed that by developing this route that you're seeing almost entirely alone. No one wanted this route to change except me, because, again, I hate fun. And also, I was, like, one of the first people to really implement hyperdashing into full game runs, because, as I said, I did a lot of IL runs for this game before actually transitioning into any percent, and it was a time. Now hyper dashes are the biggest trick in the run, and you can see, you've seen why, but you can see how that looks like throughout this. Ooh, that was a clean ending. Alright, sure. Also, we have another vehicle. The spaceship. We're gonna drive forward and collect bits along the way, because we still need some more money. Spark's vehicle transformations really make this game kind of hard to sell to people, but it's fine. I will say the ending of this stage has a mini boss. You can see him right up here. Yeah, I don't know. This attack pattern looks a bit looks a bit scary. That was equally scary. You're typically supposed to just jump straight to the goal. I don't know how I managed to not do that, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. We just go through the little gap and you don't have to fight the mini-boss. It's really funny and still works on current patch. Otherwise, that was Downtown Descent. That's the, like, second hardest stage in this run. It's also pretty difficult because it's a lot of hyper dashes. Next up, we have Strike Sewers, and this is more of the spaceship that we just saw. And this time, it's actually a little bit more interesting than flying in a straight line and shooting things. We're shooting things, and if we snuggle up in this corner just the right way, and out of bounds. And then it's flying in a straight line, because once we're out of bounds, we could just fly to the end of the stage. Otherwise, this stage is like multiple minutes long. It's rough. Thank God this clip works, because not only is this stage actually pretty unique because of this clip, but it's also actually viable for runs. We'd have to do another stage if this clip didn't exist. And then we'd have to do another stage, because this stage unlocks a stage. It's a whole thing. But next up, we have the next boss unlocked, but we have Squabble Spillway, another blue coin stage, and this stage is funny because for a very long time, people didn't know about this coin. You just turn around. I'm not kidding either, like, that took a while to be found out by us. I don't know how, honestly. Regardless, this stage is a lot of falling, which is a great time to talk about down dashing. I never mentioned it because to me it's very intuitive, but down dashing is a way of pushing yourself downwards. You're dashing downwards. However, unlike air dashes, Spark actually has an unlimited amount of these. He can down dash all he wants. I don't know why he can't air dash all he wants. That'd make this run a lot easier. But if you down dash, you don't get the maximum amount of velocity. You actually want to down dash twice. Down dashing twice will send you down much faster. So we occasionally use that. Unfortunately, it's not super viable because sometimes this game will eat your jump when you down dash on a controller. No clue why. Next, we have Residential Rattle, which... oof. Okay, hold on. Didn't say anything. This hyper dash hates me. I thought we had made amends, but clearly not. There we go. We're a bit low. It's fine. This stage would also be multiple minutes long if we didn't have the two strats that we can do in that stage. We can do that hyper dash, and then we can just wall jump up a wall a bunch of times. That stage has a lot of mandatory fight sequences, but the thing about this game's mandatory fight sequences are that they're really kind of suggestions. You can find ways around them. Basically, it's a big box arena, and if you don't go into the arena, the enemies won't spawn, and it's not like there are invisible walls to stop you, so, I mean, hey, just avoid the arenas, duh. We use that a lot in a few stages. One you'll see later on as part of the all stages category, because otherwise we'd just skip it. This is Roadway Rally. This stage is typically a car stage, but as I said, Spark is like a race car, and is a lot faster than one. Additionally, the race car in this game can't really go up walls, at least easily. So now we're out of bounds over the invisible wall. We just walk on the walls of the stage, by the way, which I think is actually a very cool way to make walls interactable and more fun. And then jump over an invisible wall, jump over some roofs, fall down into the goal. Easy. Very simple, very straightforward. Very nice stage to have, because there's not too much like it. There are a few stages where you walk on invisible walls to get out of bounds, but it's one of the few. Next up, we have a Boss on the Run, which, for this stage, we play as a spaceship, and we go against another spaceship. What is this, Star Wars? This stage is very, very straightforward, in all honesty. You just shoot the little orange specks. The spaceship additionally has a special little ability where it can fire some missiles, and those missiles automatically destroy any of the... destroy any of the orange little... I don't really know what to call them. Weak spots. Why not? Also, this isn't Spark. I don't know if you noticed. We're not playing as Spark right now. I don't know who this is. This is also the weirdest way I've ever seen a character get introduced. I can't lie. You just randomly start playing as them. But fun fact, we've been playing them as them the whole time, and the spaceship was them! That's Float, by the way. And Float's very useful in this speedrun for a couple of reasons. Most of it's combat. We'll get into that in a later stage, but... for the most part, Float is actually pretty useful for platforming, too. She's also useful because if we go into the shop real fast, you'll notice, menuing, please. She's 1 bit. There's, like, not a reason to not buy her. So, we just pick her up, and things are pretty easy from there. Additionally, there's a fun bug where if you, after unlocking Float, sometimes just inexplicably, you'll transform into Float. Again, go watch Argic's CSA run for that. It's pretty funny. It happened to him, and I still don't really understand why. Regardless, this is Nighttime Phenomena, and Nighttime Phenomena gets dashy real quick. We're gonna pick up a bunch of energy, wait for this platform to go away, and hyperdash. We're on top of the roof, which is not typically what you want, but it works. We're gonna transform to Float. We're gonna sit here, charge up a Jester Dash, and boom! You'll see Float's dead body fly into the checkpoint, and once we respawn, we spawn at the checkpoint. That skips a huge amount of this stage. Like, multiple, probably a good minute's worth. Where am I right now? Anyways. That was interesting. I've never had that really happen to me. We just missed the rails. That is a really, really big skip in this stage, and it's one of my favorite skips. It is the coolest trick in this run. It is so cool. You literally just don't care. Sure, I might be dead, but I mean, at least I'm here. The way that works is actually very simple. When you're dead, your body still interacts with the environment. I was hoping that wouldn't happen so that we had a lot of speed there. It's fine. I don't know why this tunnel's death boxes are all strange. Anyways, that is checkpoint shenanigans skip is actually very useful because earlier in the stage is a hallway just like this where we have to defeat one of those big old walls. Don't worry, you'll see them later. And by later, I mean like immediately after this stage. But we skip it, and it's pretty nice. We only have to deal with one. We're gonna hit a hyper dash. Oh, come on. We were so clean. Okay, well, it's fine. The enemy was there. Thank you for the backup. Alright. Just some rail grinding. This stage, almost over. We have this little rail grinding at the end. And then, boom. Ah. Okay, so there you can typically just... Okay, come on, Sage. You can typically just Jester swipe and sail into the goal. Sometimes it doesn't work. I don't really lie. Can't lie. Typically it works, but sometimes it just doesn't. I don't know. Regardless, Nighttime Phenomena is done. This entire area is super cool. Hysteria is a sick area. And to show it off is Dropship Daybreak. Dropship Daybreak is another coin collecting stage. Here is a pretty unique trick for these stages. We restart from checkpoint and grab the coin. Then, if we hop on up here, there's another coin there. We're gonna grab some energy off you. And then we have another wall. I told you you'd see them later. We just have to defeat them in order to pass. And then up to the dropship. Wow, that's it's the name. Oh my, I get it. Hop on in to get a few 3 coins, and a bit of energy. We have to come up here to grab one, and then ow. This guy just shotguns us if we're too close, it's fine. We wanted to get a hyper dash off that guy, but it's fine, no biggie. Whoop, I need you. And then, if you'll notice, now it is daytime. Daybreak, get it? Dropship Daybreak? Look, it's a cool stage concept. I like that stage a lot. It's one of my favorite blue coin stages, which are really enjoyable. I really like the blue coin stages in this game. They're pretty fun. Next up, we have Heaven Park. And this stage is kind of like a Mario Kart race with 2 laps. And hopefully, you'll see us go pretty fast if things go well. This stage actually has gone under a bit of a world record competition recently. The route has actually changed quite a lot. I haven't learned the new route, but it's pretty cool. But boom, we're gonna grab the energy off you. Take this tunnel. No! That's so unfortunate. You can take that tunnel and carry your speed through, but we got unlucky and hit a lamppost, which is very cool. It's fine, not a big deal. We have backup strats, but they will be a bit scuffed. We'll grab some energy here, line up on the side there, and hyper dash, and if we play our cards right... Boom, alright. Not a huge deal. I don't even know if we'll have the speed to make this jump. That's fine. We'll just come over to the side here. Unfortunate. Heaven Park loves just doing me wrong in this game, especially during marathon runs. Is what it is. That stage is actually pretty tricky during full game. You have to play pretty precisely. And then I told you we'd see some of the stages that we skipped earlier later, because we're gonna hop into our shop once more and buy a new upgrade, the Hyper Surge. Hyper Surge is very useful for combat, because Hyper Surge allows us to basically use up all of our meter for a big explosion. Think of it kind of like a super move from a fighting game. And it'll be very useful in these next few stages, especially one of the boss fights coming up. And one of these stages is pretty unique, and it's this one, Canyon Zero. Not only does this stage have the best song in the game, which makes sense, it's from Spark 1. That game has the best soundtrack out of any of them. But this is also a raid stage, which is strange because it's the only raid stage in this entire game. Raid stages, you have to build up a certain amount of score seen in the top right, just right under our time in the stage. And the score limit is 40,000. The reason this is the only stage like this in the game is that Lake Fepard, the developer of this game, had I believe it was a Kickstarter for this game, but it might have been a Patreon, I can't remember. But he got a lot of people to playtest this stage. A lot of people didn't like it. But he wasn't going to just scrap it entirely, so he left it in the game as the only raid stage in the game. I don't know why, but it's pretty fun. Otherwise, we have a bunch of combat now. This combat is pretty straightforward. This is just an enemy rush stage, pretty basic. Things here are about as straightforward as they seem, really. Alright. We will use our big explosion move on certain enemy waves to take care of them easier. Additionally, we've picked up a move called the Spin Slash, and we did use it some in our last stage. Basically, if we charge it up, boom, we can do a big spin. And it's pretty useful for certain stages that we're playing right now. These combat stages especially, because, I mean, we have a bunch of enemies around us, right? Otherwise, we can talk some about what float does for us in terms of combat. As I said earlier, float is actually, we're just gonna actually do that. Float is actually very useful to us in the combat department because she has a special ability called Face Mark. Face Mark, basically, think of it kind of like a... actually, I don't really have an analogy for it now that I think about it. Basically, it takes 20 hits and it stacks them on an enemy that just automatically targets. This enemy, after 20 hits, will get hit with a big explosion. It will send them flying upwards, and it actually deals quite a lot of damage. And again, we just have another enemy stage. This one is District 4, set on a platform. I don't really know what this thing is, honestly. And we just clean up all the enemies. Everything is on fire still from Protest Prison. But I guess another thing I can talk about is some of the combos I'm using in this game. So our main combo typically is, man, I wish I could tell what button it was. This game doesn't read my PlayStation controller properly. I probably shouldn't use that. Anyways, we use a lot of our, a lot of attacks have special, like, combos on them. A lot of them are just mashing the same button over and over again, but if you want to get really good at combat, you won't do that. Because there are moves that will send enemies upwards, just like that. And additionally, moves mid-air, where if you use them and then air dash afterwards, you can actually destroy enemies very quickly. You may see that one where Spark kicks and then kicks all the way down if he's mid-air. That one is actually extremely spammable because it deals a ton of hits in a row, and we can dash out of it to just keep getting hits. Next up, we have Throwback, which gives me nightmares. This stage has us play, has us face off against 3 enemies. First here is question mark, who is actually Flint from Spark the Electric Jester 2. And then we face off against, we face off against them in intervals. So after this one, we'll see, we are facing against Fark, question mark, but Fark is not that color. So the joke here is that Spark actually never met any of these characters, since in Spark the Electric Jester 2, Spark literally doesn't show up. It's very funny. But I don't want to get hit by that. This is Rhino Dino, another boss from Spark 2. They're all from Spark 2. And this guy's just a simple robot. All of them are robots, but he's a big one. It's fine, don't worry about it. Additionally, you'll see we're keeping all our energy for the secret 4th boss. That's right, this stage has a 4th enemy. This is Shadow Double. Wait, did I call this guy? Did I just call Double? Did I just call Double Flint? I'm sorry, Spark fans. I never claimed to be a loyal. That is Double, not Flint. I don't know why I called him Flint. Shadow Double is just his secret, powerful form. Think of it like a Super Saiyan. It's fine, don't worry about it. You don't need to know him, he's dead. We just save our Hyper Surge for him. It's very easy. Next up is Airstrip Madness, which in the past few months actually got a pretty major reroute. Typically, you'd have us go into that red building on the side. Okay, I deserve that one. I was trying to show off the building, but, you know, that's fine. But we actually found out that if you run against this wall using this handily placed rock, jump on through, use Float's double jump, charge up a charged Jester dash, and once you're near the ground, boom, we just do a little air dash, you can actually get out of bounds. And this is a lot faster than going through the airport. And just additionally, illegal. Don't do this. Jesus Christ. Spark is wanted in many countries, so it's okay. He can do it, but you can't. Please go through airport security. That will get me off the watch list. Anyways. we're gonna board the plane now, and this is typically where I'd explain gravity clips already, but you know, you've seen them before. We just run up this tube, and once we get our gravity reset, we went backwards. That's very cool. We just hop on through, and pretty easy. Very convenient that that tube is there, because otherwise that stage would be pretty lengthy. Again, I don't think any of this is legal. Illegal advice, don't do illegal things. Next, we're gonna actually hop into the shop for one more upgrade. One more extra power, I should say, because that's what the menu says. We're gonna grab the Cloud Shot. The Cloud Shot is actually part of the version that we're playing on. As I said, this game has gotten free DLC that adds a lot of stuff to this game. And one of them was Cloud Shot, which is a power-up that just kind of disables gravity for a little bit. It's fine. This next stage, two-stage liftoff, is awful! I hate this stage. Like, I mean that. It's awful. But we'll see. No way. We did the strat. That's the first time I've done that in a marathon. I'm not kidding. I wish that were more consistent. It isn't. It's awful. I mean that. We just use a bunch of cloud shots there after the rail segment gives us a ton of energy if we play our cards right to shoot straight up to the goal. There are good backups, but nothing will beat that. Next up, we're going to space. That last stage was called two-stage liftoff for a reason. We go on a rocket. I don't know why this airport has rockets, but it's fine, we're in space now. This stage has an oxygen gimmick, which will hopefully not matter. Additionally, it has a low gravity, which means we can come up to these two little bubbles. Wait, we didn't hit... Ah. This stage sucks! It's also very difficult. Stratoria Interstellar, which is this whole kind of area, is one of the hardest places in the run, and it's right at the tail end of the run, which is pretty unfortunate, actually. But, no biggie, we'll line up for it again. Nice. You just want to hit a hyper dash, followed by a lot of cloud shots, and that will be very useful to us as low gravity, so we just launch up to the goal. Otherwise, that stage is very, very long. But maybe I wouldn't complain if it were longer, because man, the Stratoria Interstellar has an amazing soundtrack. I haven't mentioned it yet. This entire game has a pretty good soundtrack. This entire game series has a pretty good soundtrack. Also, that plane we took is now crash landing. Don't ask how we went to space and now are back down here. Look, canon isn't real. Don't worry about it. You know, knowing the things I know about this game, that's actually a pretty funny joke. Anyways, this stage is another escape stage, which will hopefully not matter, because we're gonna do more gravity clips. We're gonna pop up the top of this wall, and boom, straight to the goal. Easy peasy. And that is all of the freedom medals that we'll need for any percent. Which is not the category we're playing, but you'll see later that we're just, really all levels is doing any percent and then coming back, which is there are reasons for this. Also, any fans of mechas in chat? Because we're facing off against our arch nemesis. Look, man, that name tag's real bad. I know I'm playing on like low graphics, but come on, you couldn't put the font in higher text, really? That was a really good fight, by the way. Anyways, wow, okay, I'm actually very surprised. That was a really good fight. Oh, cool. I'm checking my splits, and they're all a split behind. This is great. Oh, that's awesome. Hold up. Okay, we're fine. That's really funny, actually. So, cutscene. We don't care. I don't care. I still don't understand the story, man. I really wish I did. That's a lie. I kind of do, but apparently I don't. Anyways. I wanted to go into the stage. Thanks, game. Yeah, this is a tutorial stage. There are 3 stages left, by the way. This is one of them. Well, 3 stages left in 80%, but you understand. This game is strange. Don't question it. Because actually, this tutorial is probably one of the most important ones. Fall damage. If you fall for too long, you die. Straightforward enough. You can cancel fall damage by jumping, dashing, charge Jester dashing, or landing on an inclined slope. Which are things that we will need for this next stage. I'm going to try a strat here, because the typical strat here involves some cringe, according to some people, but I think it's cool either way. We're going to try this stage without infinite fall, which needs some context. This stage is basically a big hole. This is a big tower, but we start at the top. And one of the quirks about this game is that there are a few ways to cancel fall damage. Of course, we have all the default ways, but really the game is just checking if you have downwards momentum for X amount of time. And we can abuse that little hyper surge ability we have to actually make the game okay. I should have just infinite fall there as a backup. That's fine. We can still do this. We just have to hyper dash first to get the extra height. Anyways, as I was saying, this game is really just checking if you have downwards momentum whenever it says, "Oh, you're falling." So, what we actually do is with hyper surge, we can actually just cancel our momentum outright. However, this is like super unintended and is actually patched in the most recent version of the game. However, you can actually just down patch and it still works because of course you can. So that's why we grab Hyper Surge in this version, is because Hyper Surge is typically very strong for infinite fall. But it was recently proven by the current world record holder and probably the GOAT of this game, Squish Squash, that infinite fall actually isn't faster. At least, you know, if you play perfectly. In the next 2 stages, we'd typically infinite fall, but we don't even need to, because, fun fact, you just abuse the mechanics of the game, you know? Who needs infinite fall when you can just regular fall? Duh. Alright. So we should be relatively safe now. We're gonna grab this energy bubble. We're gonna hopefully not get sent to the depths of hell. Coming up is the tricky part of this bit. We have to play really well here, and this is the part I'm scared about. We have to fall, do a quick jump, a quick dash. We're going to swap over to float, charge Jester dash, and then we have to balance out cloud shots and maintain our height. Additionally, we're looking to land on a invisible ceiling, which hopefully, okay, there we go. And hopefully, if all goes well, when we run off and start falling, we will not die. Hopefully. We're gonna play this a bit safe. Land on it. Yes! Ah, okay. That part is the scariest part of this stage, because if you fail that, you have to go through a super long portion of the end of the stage. It is lengthy. But we made it, thank God. We did not need to use Infinite Fall. Infinite Fall was an interesting discovery in this game. It completely changed the last 2 stages and made the sub-hour possible. And now we're at sub 40 minutes. The current world record is, I believe, a 38-minute, 58-second time or something like that. And it doesn't use infinite fall. It just uses better strats, and granted a buff to another power-up that isn't Hyper Surge that makes the game's combat a lot faster. And that to me is really incredible, because when we found Infinite Fall, we thought of it as like the holy grail. And yeah, no. So what do you expect from fighting game players? Because honestly, they're different, man. They're different. So huge shoutouts to Squish Squash. I can't understate the contributions that they have made to this game. We're entering into our final stage. Again, we won't be using Infinite Fall during this stage. This stage, if done well, at least, will take 9 entire minutes. This stage is massive, and you're about to see it in all of its glory as opposed to seeing it weird, out-of-bounds nonsense that some people don't like. I personally think this stage, with the Infinite Fall route, actually looks really cool. But you'll see it tried and true as we start out with a long run to these ramps. We're gonna down dash through the lasers, shoot all of these enemies. Magnet dash off you while getting more energy, hit the booster, and boom, boom, boom. Alright. That part actually can be a lot harder than it seemed. We're gonna hit an energy dash. Ramps come in handy there. Hit this rail to get some more energy back. Another boost, jump up. Ah, no, we were doing so well. Unfortunately hit that wall. No biggie. Actually, that's probably one of the better places to lose our momentum, because, I mean, we're going on this long path anyways. And so, we'll be getting it back. Yeah, but this small gap, we're going to build up some energy there. We're going to actually come over to these guys to get a little bit more. And then here, we're going to do a Cloud Dash, a new form of magnet dashing that we haven't used yet. It's just a magnet dash, except you Cloud Dash instead, which allows us to get height to avoid the enemy there. Jump over that laser to go along these rails. I actually want to... No! That happened to me in practice too. I was like, we want to avoid that pole. We did not avoid the pole. It's fine. Can we... There we go. Alright. Build up some more energy, do a couple of energy dashes to get our speed back after bonking the pole. No biggie. Over these lasers, do a bunch of wall jumps. Oh, that's awkward. Sure. I mean, honestly, that's one way to do it. We'll magnet dash off you. These big old bubbles and these smoke grenades obscure our vision, and we're dead. I don't know what happened there because I couldn't see. It's fine, no biggie. These big old bubbles have 2 forms: the red and the the red and the silver. They do 2 different things. I'm gonna do something a little cheeky there. So one thing I haven't really mentioned is that enemies can actually drop random things. Most of the time it's like capsules, which will refill your health or energy, but sometimes they can drop bubbles. Bubbles, of course, can be magnet dashed off, and as an extent, can also be hyper dashed off. Need to focus for this jump. Okay, that's fine. That works. At least we didn't die yet. Notice how I said yet as we jump over the death pit. Anyways, we got a bubble, which was very conveniently timed. Alright. We're gonna head on down. We're entering into the second half of this stage, into the depths, as the soundtrack is called. We're gonna hop on down to the checkpoint. Grab this energy. We don't need it yet, but we will later. Is the soundtrack not gonna play? Is it really gonna... This has never happened before. There we go! Sure! Yeah, sure. You know what? That's fine. We're gonna do some basic platforming. The gimmick of this second half is that occasionally the stage will swap over to the white space. The white space is creepy, weird. It's all very simple, actually. Just more difficult platforming, and adds a lot of context to the story, but don't worry about it. We're gonna build up some energy here for an upcoming hyper dash. We don't need to do this, but I didn't have the energy necessary. We want this guy to attack, and this should work. We're a bit slow, but we can use float. We're gonna hop around this big ol' tube. There we go. Grab the booster there for a little bit of extra speed without using any energy. That skips a mandatory fight sequence. As I said earlier in the run, mandatory fights. We don't hit the trigger. It doesn't happen. Pretty easy. All right, man. So, we just go around it, fall down that big old tube, and into white space once more as we run along. This time, we just have a bunch of wall jumping, which can actually be mildly annoying, but it's fine. Bonk. Bonk. Charge on up here. We have this little wall running section, which is weird because it really isn't wall running, but it's fine. And then the actual wall walking stage. This game calls wall running wall walking, by the way. It's very weird. I don't know why they call it that. I went the wrong way. I need to go over to you. There we go. Here, instead of doing all this nonsense platforming, we're just gonna abuse collision and jump and go around things, and it's easy. Hit the white space trigger from behind, which will send us into white space once more. On up, the reason, actually, I didn't touch on this during Airstrip Madness, the reason we swapped to float while we're walking up walls is that she actually has a faster dash rate. Spark can only dash so many times in a given amount of time. Float does not. It has a much higher rate, so we just use her to maximize our amount of speed while going up walls and such. Here we're gonna run on down, jump over the gap to hit this little turn, and boom, more white space. This will actually be our final white space, at least for a little bit. Here, we're gonna do an energy dash. There, we're gonna do a character swap and do a cloud dash, and boom. Do our last little bit of energy, and here we have the rail grinding section. This section is actually present in the infinite fall route of this stage, surprisingly enough. That part, this part you actually see. This is where you fall down to. But we're traveling to the center of this city here. This long rail grinding section is pretty cool. Additionally, we won't be using Infinite Fall in the ending of this stage either. Like I said, we're not using it at all. So it allows me to try to go for this new strat we have. And we're a bit low. Okay, that's fine. We are a bit low on energy, which unironically is making me think about doing the mandatory fight. Anyways, one last piece of tech. I'm sure you guys are through with the technical explanations, but we are not. This is called wall dashing. Basically, how this works is if you run against the wall, you can down dash, and then while you can down dash while you're running on the wall. There we go. I found the words. And that will actually speed you up quite dramatically. It gives you a big ol' speed boost, which is very useful in very long stretches of land. The reason we don't use that more on the run is because we don't have enough land, typically. This game has pretty tight platforming, actually. It's useful in 2 spots, there and in Airstrip Madness, because we go over a huge old field. But we're falling down the tube to our actual final white space part of this stage. Here, we're gonna just boom, and then we're gonna okay. This next platform has a mandatory fight sequence, which we won't do because we can actually just hop on over to these little rings here. Will take us down to the ending of the stage because they don't have us take fall damage for some reason. That's I'm sure is explained somewhere. But we're suddenly transported to the last stretch, at least of Utopia Shelter. This last area we run through for a big ol' area of blocks just in the distance there. Typically you want to have some energy to do an energy dash to start your travel, but you know, I mean, it is what it is. It's fine. We got there, and that was 9 minutes and 21 seconds, which is pretty solid for me. World record on this stage is a 7 minute and 26 second run by, again, Squish Squash the GOAT. But I only recently started doing this strat. I learned it specifically for this marathon. So I'll take that. Bunch of cutscenes, and suddenly we're playing as a new character. And this character you'll actually see plenty of afterwards. Because this is Fark, and we're using him in the line work fight here. The line work fight is just another small boss rush. 3 different characters, or 3 different enemies to defeat, all from Spark's past. First, we have the Beast, who is very common in, I believe, who shows up in Spark 1. Then we have Linework Reaper, another Spark 1 character. This entire fight is from Spark 1, I believe, except for the last character. We have to get through the Reaper here to, boom, there we go. We have Spark himself. Poor dude is going through it. You're fine back there, it's okay. This fight is pretty straightforward. One thing that's actually very useful about having float in Utopia Shelter, besides, you know, all the platforming advantages, right, is that we actually can use Face Mark in this stage, which will, of course, help us deal some extra damage. Alright, we're coming up on the last little bit of Spark's health. But the boss fights don't stop with Spark here. We have one more fight. So, that fight is cutscene. Thank you. That fight is aliens. This is Clarita Centralis, the main antagonist of this game. The Fark Force was never our enemy the whole time. Clarity was. You'll have to play the game to figure out what I'm talking about. This game's story is a bit weird to follow. It's a bit difficult, but it's actually very good at the end of the day. It's cheesy, it's fun. It's actually a lot of cool stuff goes on, and I really like it. It's corny, but you know that we like corny as fans of Sonic the Hedgehog. I said the thing. Anyways, we're coming up on time for any percent. This is not an any percent run, my friends. This is all levels. All levels actually doesn't end in the same place that any percent does. All levels ends when you beat the last stage. So the route for this category is playing through any percent, also Friday Night Funkin' Jumpscare, to grab these 2 abilities. These 2 characters are of huge importance to us for these last few stages, because Fark has a special ability that will help us out. Also, that time for any percent, in case you were curious, was a 49.35, which is not too far off my PB, actually. However, I do need to undo everything that I just did, because oh my god, my goals got ruined. But that was actually a very solid run. I haven't played this game in a little bit, so I'm more than happy with that. Anyways, on to the all levels portion of this game. First, we have Lost Ravine, the first stage we skipped. Here in Lost Ravine, we'll talk some about why we unlock Fark and Safarks, the two characters that we just unlocked. Well, to put it simply, Fark can go through certain walls. To put it more technically, Fark has an invulnerable... Fark has... I didn't float right now. An invulnerable dash, which means he doesn't take damage during it. However, somehow, I'm not really sure how, but somehow, certain walls, typically those, I need to be a little bit higher for this jump, there we go, we should be fine, we have float. Certain walls allow us to just go straight through them. Like I said, I don't really understand this. All we know is that it's because of the invulnerable dash, and apparently they don't check collision all the greatest. I wish I knew. I wish I understood. But next, we have District 9 here. District 9 is actually a pretty enjoyable stage. This stage kinda slaps, but only if you do it with... okay, we're gonna come up here. But only if you do it with Fark, because... hold up. Ah, you're kidding. We're gonna just restart it there. We're going for a pretty difficult jump, actually. But, this stage has two auto-scrollers. One of which is at about the midpoint of this stage. There we go. That's what we were trying to do. And one is at the end of the stage. However, using Fark, we can... I didn't get as much speed as I wanted, so we'll have to take this a bit more carefully. We can come up to this spring. Wait, hold on. I think I want... Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. We're... Panic? Okay, there we go. We're fine. I want that spring. I flew forward for a second. We want that spring. We can actually skip this auto-scroller, which has speedrunners. We're ecstatic about. By clipping through these little walls here. And I'm gonna hop on over to here. And boom, there we go. Just like that. Additionally, Fark is pretty useful in this stage because he doesn't take damage while he's dashing. So we just use him to not take damage while we're dashing, who would have guessed? I actually wanted one of them to stay alive. That's kind of unfortunate. Typically you'd do a hyper dash there, but... okay, come on, game. Come on, game. Come on, game! Please! No! No, dude! Nightmare. That is the funniest thing that has ever happened to me in this game. Anyways. Typically, you do a hyper dash there to avoid all that. We didn't do that. We didn't avoid anything there. Oh my god. He got literally destroyed. Anyways. Do this to me. Anyways. We have this auto-scroller here. Unfortunately, not much we can do to skip this. You can technically avoid this auto-scroller. It's not worth it. It's not faster. Additionally, you can just sit here, and it's pretty fast. You just avoid all the flames. It's pretty nice. It's a nice break. My hands don't feel pain or anything. I was gonna say my hands need a break, but I could probably do another run after this actually. But that was District 9. Next up, we have more wall clipping shenanigans with District 79. Additionally, protest prisons naming conventions aren't the greatest, so all of these stages initially kind of just are a blur, but eventually you get their names down. 79 here begins with a detour over to the energy bubble to our right, and then mandatory fight sequence 1. Please, let me out. Oh! That should not have worked. I was gonna be upset because that should not have worked. So the fun fact about Jester Swipe is that it actually avoids all wall detect collision. I don't know why, but it does, and I'm not complaining. Anyways, we're gonna climb up this tree. Let me through, please. Thank you. Come over here. Do a couple of wall dashes, a little cloud shot as well. On over to the ending of the stage. And then we'll come on over to, this guy. No! Oh, okay, that's fine. We'll restart there. You can actually skip that mandatory fight sequence by going through it, but it is pretty tricky. You do need a lot of speed, but no biggie. We can just go under it. We were really close. That was a good speed, but just a little bit off. So we'll just go under it, and that's fine. That's cool too. Next, we have a different stage. The stage is pretty unique in terms of what we do in it. This is Endless Hall, and I'm hoping this goes well. Endless Hall is very, very slow in any percent. However, we are getting ideas to put it back in. Initially, this was part of the route because we didn't have strats for the Stratoria Interstellar route stages. However, it eventually got swapped out, and now it's actually a pretty interesting stage because this stage is the only one that uses a tech called float clips. We'll see if we get it. Yes! Yes! Let's go! Alright. So, to explain what happened there, because I know everyone is confused, that was called a float clip. Float clips are strange, and I wish I knew what causes them. Okay, there we go. That was good. That was a pretty solid Endless Hall. Float clips are weird. I don't know what causes them. In short, if you parry an enemy that would damage you if you ran into it, so the little spike guys that we've seen throughout the game, and then helming attack it with float, float will teleport on top of it but not take damage, but also knock away the enemy, which is really, really strange. And it allows her to just kind of go through walls. I don't know why. Here, Balloon Fiesta has more mandatory fight sequences that we're hoping to avoid. I'm gonna come over to this. Wait, hold on. Let me reposition. There we go. Very nice. That was one mandatory fight sequence skipped. And we're hoping to get the next. So we're gonna hop on this little balloon. Nice! Very good. Awesome. That was just a few hyper dashes off those weird balloons, which send us absolutely flying. We go zooming. Very easy, very simple. You skip through a lot of mandatory fight sequences through that. And if you'll take a look at the map, except over here, don't look at this area, we have one more stage left. And it just so happens that this stage is the most boring stage in the game. Because this is supposed to be a car level. Keyword, supposed to be. he can clip out of bounds using Fark, just go through that invisible X wall, well, invisible wall, and now we're running. And we'll be running for about 50 seconds. So, this is a great time for shoutouts. By the way, time comes when we see the goal screen at the end of this stage. I'll try to count us down. But, first and foremost, shout out to the Spark the Electric Jester community. I seriously love this community. This game is my favorite speedrun of all time, bar none. And it's my second favorite game of all time behind Sonic Adventure. I just have a place in my heart for that game. But it's a really close fight. This game's speedrun has come so far, and I really, really love showing it off whenever I can. So, huge thank you to Pixel Perfect for allowing me to come back after their first event. I ran at the first event, and they've been lovely. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for putting on the event. You'll hopefully see me submitting to the next one. I have a few more categories up my sleeve. Otherwise, shout out to my community. You can find me everywhere as shovelclaws. If you search it, I'm not there, and you find nothing, it means I'm not there. No one's taking that username, surprisingly enough. Where am I right now? Oh, never mind. I know where I am. You can follow me on Twitch, on Twitter, on YouTube. One day, hold me to this chat, one day I will make a world record history for this game, because its story is absolutely fascinating. Did you know current world record holder for this game has won an Evolution Fighting Series tournament? Main stage, I'm not kidding. Anyways, we'll count us down as we head on out. So in 3, 2, 1, time. That was a 58-23 all levels, and I wasted a lot of time at that last stage. That, my friends, is a new world record for all levels. Which is pretty alright, I'll take it. My other run, the other current world record is by me during a marathon. Because this category gets easy time into marathons. Anyways, thank you for watching. I always love showing off Spark, and this game is absolutely amazing. Pick this game up if you like high speeds, if you like platformers at all, because you will not regret it. This game is absolutely amazing. As always, you can find me as shovelclaws everywhere. Again, thank you for letting me show it off, and here's FM City from Spark the Electric Jester 2. Why not? This stage is like 17 seconds long. Let me cook. Okay, hold up. Alright. So. Easy. 20 seconds. I'm bad. Anyways, bonus stage since I finished 7 minutes underestimate. Nice, very cool. Thank you again for watching. I always love showing off Spark. This game is so cool. Spark says trans rights, and thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Go have a nice rest of the event, and take care, of course.
All right, shovelclaws, thank you so much. Congrats on the world record. That run was amazing to watch. So yeah, thank you. Definitely looking forward personally to you submitting more runs. So yeah, look out for that. Coming up next, we'll have Rusty by JD. We'll also have a new host. This is it for me as a host as well. So we'll be introducing Jonathan Irvings on the mic for hosting for next level section. And with that, we're just gonna help do a quick intermission to set up the next run, but definitely stay tuned.